Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. Lie Brewery is suing another brewery for using their trademarked Big Juicy name. We first told you about this yesterday. Now tonight, our Nicole Hernandez is in the studio to give us more details. Nicole?
Yeah, so this actually isn't the first time No Lie has had trouble with something like this. Back in 2019, a Chicago brewery had a beer named Born and Raised, just like No Lie's. That situation was a bit different because both companies had some rights to that name. This time, though, No Lie says they have the Big Juicy name fully trademarked. You'd probably recognize it, the No Lie Big Juicy IPA.
Big Juicy is a brand that's deep in our culture.
Owner John Bryant says the Big Juicy is their #1 beer in sales and revenue.
But I think more importantly, it's beginning to be a brand that represents the city.
So when another company created their own Big Juicy, John went straight to the rule book.
Rules are rules and laws are laws. That's why we file trademarks.
No Lie holds the incontestable trademark for the name Big Juicy.
Our attorney sent a note to their attorney, and they didn't. They just acknowledged it, said we strongly disagree that there's any infringement.
This all started earlier this year when No Lie says Redhook Brewery bought a keg of their Big Juicy IPA. This photo is from the lawsuit documents showing Redhook promoting the keg on their social media. So owners John and Cindy visited Redhook.
John went up to the counter and said, "I'd like to have a No Lie Big Juicy." They're like, "We don't have that." And he's like, "Well, it was just on your social media that we could come in and get one." And they're like, "No, but we have a better Big Juicy."
Now, when you go to the Redhook Brewery homepage, you see this. They're promoting their newest beer, the Big Juicy Ballard.
And for us, it's about customer confusion.
His concern, customers start to buy Redhook's Big Juicy thinking they're supporting No Lie. John says the lawsuit is about more than just the trademark, though.
This is about building a local beer culture in this city that creates jobs for a lot of breweries.
A culture widely recognized in Spokane and one John hopes Redhook Brewery will respect.
We should all play by the letter of the law. And if you violate it, you should fix it.
So I emailed Redhook Brewing yesterday and asked if they had any comment or if they were planning on making any changes because of this lawsuit. They still have not responded. In studio, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
I think that the prosecutor looked to see if he could consider this a true threat. Ultimately, he determined that it wasn't.
That's Bevan Maxey, a longtime criminal defense attorney in Spokane, talking about the Coeur d'Alene City prosecutor's decision to not charge the teenager accused of yelling racial slurs at the University of Utah women's basketball team. We want to make it clear Maxey is not involved in this case, but simply giving us his opinion and analysis based on his experience as an attorney. He said when prosecutors are deciding whether to file charges, they are considering a number of factors to determine if the speech rises to a level of a crime. That includes the intent behind what was said. Was it a threat or harassment? Was the vulgar, profane language used in a loud and boisterous manner in the presence of a child, which, if so, he pointed out, would be a misdemeanor. While we do have strong protections under the First Amendment, there are also instances where what you say and how you say it does rise to the level of a crime.
He talked about intent, which again can be one of the criteria that separate protected speech from unprotected speech. They came to the conclusion they thought this person was trying to be funny. I didn't research the case myself, but I think that there was probably more to it than that as far as what his real intent was to create with these young ladies.
For the rest of the Coeur d'Alene community, this story has stayed top of mind. A member of the council told us that she is disappointed there won't be charges filed, but she respects the review of the incident by the prosecutor. Mayor Jim Hammond says he's not second-guessing the city prosecutor either, but he had hoped the suspect would at least face some level of accountability.
I had hoped that something could be done to hold them accountable, and it may have been funny to them, but it wasn't funny to the community.
This case, they really had difficulty even locating witnesses, and they finally were able to do that. And then they had hours and hours of video surveillance to comb through and audio. And so it's just very labor intensive.
We reached out to both the Kootenai County and Spokane chapters of the NAACP. We have not yet heard back from them tonight. All right, turning now to weather, we have finally got some good news to report. Sunshine and warmer temperatures on the way. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo joining us in the studio tonight with the details. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, when it comes to the next few days, we are sure turning the corner into a very even summer-like pattern. Temperatures right now in the 40s, but when it comes to tomorrow morning, I don't think it's quite the chill we woke up to today. We are going to once again fall back down to near 40 degrees. A little bit of cloud cover keeps us from dipping much lower than that, and that cloud cover is already starting to team in from the east, believe it or not, kind of the backwards direction. A little bit of moisture coming in over North Idaho. That stays up there. I think the extent of it is a few showers over the mountain passes. Those move out, and it's all about the sunshine. I think we'll see a little bit of that tomorrow afternoon. Thursday offers even more, and by Friday, it's nothing but sun. But look at the temps. 65 tomorrow for a high 76 on Thursday. By Friday, we wake up to temperature at 50 degrees and climb to 80 by the afternoon.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. With wildfire season right around the corner, Avista announcing today they'll begin shutting down power on high-risk fire days. This comes in response to the devastating Spokane County wildfires last summer that burned 21,000 acres and destroyed 366 homes. Officials say they will only do that as a last resort, and folks will receive ample warning ahead of the shutoffs. A lawsuit filed earlier this year claimed that faulty inland power and light equipment is to blame for causing the Gray Fire.
We all pay for the price of not doing our part to help mitigate and manage wildland fires. Tough decisions are never easy.
Avista also encourages customers to have an outage preparedness kit. It should include things like water, flashlights, batteries, and shelf-stable food. Ahead of their weekly board meeting tomorrow night, Spokane Public Schools says they are still discussing next steps on a bond that failed earlier this year. The $200 million measure fell short of the needed 60% voter approval in February. Since then, the district has conducted a survey that showed them many of the no votes pointed fingers at inflation and a potential impact on property values.
As we've shared before, one of the main pieces of feedback was just the economic environment and the challenges economically and from a tax perspective that our community is facing. So I know that that is foremost on the school board's mind as they're thinking about next steps, while at the same time balancing the needs of the school district.
School officials say they will continue looking at a number of factors before reintroducing the bond. That includes assessing what other municipalities like the city will have on upcoming ballots. Changes are on the way for the identification that you will need to fly out of any U.S. airport. In exactly 1 year from today, anyone taking a domestic flight or visiting certain federal facilities must use a Real ID compliant driver's license or ID card. There are several options that meet that requirement, including a passport or an enhanced Washington or Idaho state driver's license. A standard driver's license does not count. Renewal appointments are now available online. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. After weeks of turmoil on college campuses, pro-Palestine protesters in New York marched from Union Station to the public library. Demonstrators continued to denounce Israel's ongoing war with Hamas. Today, one person was detained by police after more than 2,000 were arrested last week on campuses all across the country. And despite those arrests, not all of those encampments have been cleared. Officials at the University of Oregon are negotiating with the pro-Palestinian leaders of an encampment that has grown now to more than 140 tents. People on campus say students and university leaders are far from a compromise. In other news, adult film star Stormy Daniels sat on the witness stand for hours today as Donald Trump's hush money trial continued. She described the circumstances around her alleged 2006 sexual encounter with Trump, which he denies ever took place.
No legal significance to the salacious details in her testimony. But what it does do is it brings in essence, character evidence about the defendant, Donald Trump.
Her claim that she was given $130,000 to keep silent about the alleged sexual encounter is at the center of the case. Daniels is expected back on the stand for cross-examination when the trial resumes on Thursday. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.